Currently, the title of today's show is Live Dual Boot Windows 11, Shrink C Drive and Install Second Windows Operating System. But it might change. It could change. The reason why it could change is because primarily the primary purpose of this channel is to respond to people's questions for issues that they're having with their computers.
Said I'm working here.
Checking audio. Got that. And I heard a speaker bot, I think. Well, yeah, but if I heard it, did you hear it? Checking.
Yes, affirmative.
Yeah, you got it. All right. So if somebody's in chat with a question, please ask it now, not later, because once we get onto this topic, it'll fill the time available. And if somebody else has some other question, we can deal with that first. Then when we get to this topic, we can make it shorter. If we don't get to this topic at all, that's quite okay, because the purpose is bring your questions of Windows issues that you're struggling with. Now, if you came to this video because you saw the title that I just showed, Dual Boot Windows 11, Shrink C Drive, Install Second Windows Operating System. If you came to this video because of that, there's going to be a little delay before we get into that. So I encourage you to feel free to use the playhead to scrub forward and find the place when we get started with that. Or I might wind up putting a timestamp into the description of this video to help you get to that easier. At this point, I'm going to turn to chat and say hello to people and see if anyone's got a question. And if not, then we're going to move on. Now, let me give you a little heads up about what this project is. This is not something that I've made up. I got it on the bench and it's a pretend computer. No, we're going to do this on Baby Beast. We're going to create a second operating system boot on Baby Beast for troubleshooting purposes. And this is the reason why I usually use this technique, is for troubleshooting purposes. So I'll be explaining more about the background about why we're doing that. And as far as what Windows system, any Windows system that will install from the Windows installation media. And you'll see that when we get to that point of choosing which one. Okay. So that gives you an orientation of my plan. And part of the reason why we're doing this during the show is because I need to do it anyway. So why not do it during a show? Oh, Ken Stout says, put a one in chat if you think Doug hits the wrong button again. I put a 1. Yeah. Oh, for those who don't know what that's about, is I accidentally started this live stream about 45 minutes ago, something like that, and did not even realize it because I thought I was doing my test stream. Well, what happened was in OBS, there was a test stream configured. I selected that and started the live stream. But YouTube Live Studio only knew of one scheduled stream. So it said, I'm receiving data from OBS. It must be this one. Somehow OBS had a live stream scheduled that I could select, and YouTube didn't know anything about it. So I told OBS, I indeed did tell OBS to start the test stream. But YouTube only knew of the actual scheduled stream, and it started that. Oh, and if anybody wants to see that, I've made it unlisted, but if you want to see my goof up, I'll give it to you. It's right here. See that 2 minutes and 20 seconds long. It's currently unlisted. And I'll go get a shareable link to that and come over here to the description of today's video, and I will put it right here at the top. My accidental live stream. Yeah, why type it when I can dictate it, okay? So there it is. You can go watch it if you want to see my goof up. Because I guess the thing that you might be interested in seeing is, when did Doug realize that he was actually live on a public live stream. Yeah, there's Darren with a whole bunch of ones. Oh, look at that. Ken already got knocked off his perch. He's number 3. He showed up as first, yet he was showing number 3. How did that happen? That's weird. Now he's number 4. Hello, Scott, Ran Israel, Ken Stout, Darren Gilholm. Ran, I was going to ask what happened. Then I came to my senses. Now, did he? Yeah, he didn't say what that is. And Ken Stout came back saying, well, Doug happened. Doug happened. Hello, Mike Wojcik. Does anyone have a question? Otherwise, we're gonna get into the topic. Yeah, the first title, install second OS. It didn't say Windows. So both Ran Israel. Well, no, actually, it was Jim on the other video, thinking that I was doing a repeat of his video from a couple weeks ago where he did a second operating system, which was Linux. No, I'm not doing that. This is a second Windows operating system, any version you want that is on the installation media. Scott, Mike, Ran, yes, but Windows OS says, yeah, answered that. Please. Could be 10 or 11. Oh, and actually, yeah, you could do 10 or 11. Doesn't have to be the same version. Okay, so that's where I left off. I'm going to go catch this read chat because there's quite a bit. There's a question, just not a tech question. And where am I supposed to? One of these days, Alice. One of these days. Where in all that is this question? I have to do all your work. Hello, Alice. She's laughing at my frustration. Oh, wait a minute. One of these days. Yeah, that was the white, wasn't it, Alice? Coincidental. Of course, I didn't mean Alice Jones.
Read chat, please.
I want to see, this is a great way to do it. An exclamation C, and here's the question. I want a router where I can have subnets. Any recommendations? You don't need a special router to have subnets if you're doing static IP addresses. Smart switches is a good way to, programmable switches is a good way to do subnets. If you're asking for a router that will assign DHCP to different segments in your network, let's see, aren't you still going to need a smart switch to accomplish that? I don't have a lot of experience in the area, and I don't have any particular name brands. Of course, Cisco would be what I think of as the corporate end as far as complexity of routers. A great place for you to get a more authoritative answer for that, I think, would be get onto Kerry Holzman's forum or send an email to the email address. I can't recite it. I don't know it offhand. And look for Mara to answer that. I suspect, would have significant experience in that. If I wanted to ask that question of someone, Mara would be a go-to in my mind. To the moon, Alice. It's a funny joke I heard on The Sopranos. Let's see, what about this question that Ken was trying to guide me to? Is it this orange? Phil Stott, I have a little success story for you. I was able to use Macrum-free. Macrum? Who taught this guy English? Macrium. He spelled it right. I pronounced it wrong. Use Macrum-free to switch my 256 gigabyte drive to a 1 terabyte drive on my laptop. Awesome. Awesome. Well done. Windows 11 Home date.
Read chat, please.
22H2, not Windows 11, is version 24H2. Maybe he's having a conversation there. I don't know if that's directed to me. I don't quite have enough there to respond to that. Windows 11 home date 22H2. And no, Windows 11 should be 24H2. If you have a Windows 11 computer and it's on 22H2, you might have to manually do the update, because I don't think 22H2 is supported anymore. So it might not automatically update, or the update might be failing. I don't know why you're even saying that. Multiple subnets, multiple default gateway. I don't know any home grade router that supports that. Yeah, you would have to have multiple default gateways, wouldn't you? Would you? Not necessarily. If you use a subnet mask scheme where your gateway address could be still accessible even if it's on a different subnet, all your computers would have, what was it called? Class D? Is that the right term? Class D subnet, so they can just talk to each other. But the, no, if they're going to talk to the router, they still need that. Anyway, that's deeper subject than I can talk about off the top of my head. That would negate the whole point of subnetting if they
Read chat, please.
if they didn't have multiple default gateways. I suppose, is there only one purpose of subnetting? 25H2 Insider Edition, second version install. That's not what I'm going to do. If that's what you're asking. And again, I don't know that's what you're asking because it's not a full question or sentence. Multicast not usable addresses. Okay, let's stop going down the multiple subnets because I can't talk that off the top of my head well enough. And the original question was just, does anyone have a router recommendation? That was the question. So has anybody came up with that? Exclamation mark C at the end is not going to work, John Downey. I want a router where I can set up subnets. Any recommendations for a router? I want to IoT from the rest of my network. You don't. How about just having your IoT on the guest network? Plenty of routers out there that do a guest network. It's a different subnet. Guest network is going to be a different IP range. And your router, with having a guest network, it's a dual gateway, right? So the comments about gateway, the guest network is a dual gateway, right? Home grade routers, yeah, home grade routers have guest networks. So why wouldn't that work, Rand? Exactly, just to throw IoT on a guest network and it cannot get to the normal network. Yeah, if that's what you're actually after, you don't need to mess with more complex subnets. More complex subnets are intended for more complex, not just one other subnet, not just for IoT. Yeah, Rand's agreeing that would work. So is that what you're really asking for? Because here we got the situation where somebody asks a very specific, narrow question. And, well, let's take the lesson from Kerry Holzman that he's given us many times. Take the broader question. What are you trying to accomplish? Once it came up that he's trying to accomplish separate IoT, well, that's a whole different question. You could have led with that rather than subnets. Yeah, why do you want to do subnets? Arnold Albert, yes, set up the guest network for IoT. Absolutely. Because they are two different networks. They are isolated. Oh, that's a conversation between them. I think I want to move along here. Hi, I'm going to step away to see who's at the door. And you can go get some refreshments. Whoops, I got to go over to this button first.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
All right. Now, was there another question about an issue that somebody's having? Or are we ready to go to the task at hand? I'm going to assume there's not another question because I already asked for it. So let's move on. So, Baby Beast. Here I got Baby Beast over on this screen. And Doug, why are you doing this? I have two crashing problems, performance problems with Baby Beast. I have two crashing problems, performance problems with Big Beast. I'm in a phase right now during the summer of reworking infrastructure, fixing some things, catching up on my business, catching up on my health, a whole bunch of stuff. And this is why I've reduced my frequency of live streams on YouTube. And I've also pretty much stopped watching YouTube videos, stopped watching Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, everything. The only thing that I do of consumption these days is audiobooks. I just saw that Carrie and Scott recently did a live stream, so I have started listening to that as a podcast. But other than that, I haven't been watching any, and it's really working well. I'm getting caught up with stuff. I'm feeling better. My health is a little better. I got my headaches better under control. I got my sleep better under control. Things are going good in that regard. Now, so I got to a point where I'm this problem that I'm having with Baby Beast is causing me troubles. So the issues that are happening is my log me and rescue on Baby Beast will crash somewhat randomly, but kind of I can kind of make it happen. I'm not going to try to demonstrate that now because that's irrelevant. When it crashes, the program crashes, I can relaunch it and get back in. It's just the program that crashes. That same symptom happens on Big Beast. I do not have that symptom on my laptop or my all-in-one computer. So it's not the program itself. It's probably something, some of this extra stuff, junk that I have installed on both of these computers. And they're both experiencing that problem. I am quite certain that when I put a separate instance of Windows on Baby Beast and don't put on all that other clutter, that I will get consistent good performance out of Log Me and Rescue on that on Baby Beast. The second problem that I'm having with Baby Beast is it does occasionally blue screen. I usually am away from the computer at the time. Usually doesn't happen while I'm working on it. When I came back from the cabin this week, it was blue screened. And I have not attempted to troubleshoot that with you during the shows because it does not generate a dump file. I have the dump file turned on, but it just does not generate it. So I'm figuring it somehow is crashing in a way that prevents the computer from even doing that. So by putting on a second operating system and just keep it very, very slim, very little on it, I'll have the Log Me and Rescue, I'll have my Google Chrome account, I'll have my Microsoft account, and see if I get stable operation. In preparation for this, previously my OneDrive was stored on the C drive. And I use the configuration on all my computers where it stores all the files locally on OneDrive. It doesn't access them from the cloud when I want them. So having it on multiple computers is an additional form of backup, such that if OneDrive on the cloud crashes, I've probably still got everything on one of my computers. Not saying that's a backup strategy in itself. It's a piece. Now, that was going to be a problem because I wanted to shrink the C drive down to make the second partition on the same physical drive. That's not always the right way to do it. In my case, that's the way I want to do it. May become apparent as we get down the road. Not going to argue about that now. Many different ways things can be done. That's the way I'm going to do it this time. Shrink the drive down. So I couldn't shrink the drive down because it's got too much stuff on it. So what I did is I moved my OneDrive to a separate drive that I actually added to Baby Beast, a 2.5-inch SSD. So that has all of my OneDrive now. And both operating systems, the primary operating system on the C drive, on the primary drive, will access those OneDrive files, and the second one will access those OneDrive files. They'll be essentially sharing that because that's a thing you can do. Well, I was going to say it's not simple. Yeah, it is simple. It is simple. It's just not a normal kind of configuration. Now, I did a little setup, a little preparation for this show because last week I didn't do that preparation and got me in trouble. I didn't have a Macrim Reflect bootable flash drive on hand, and then we went down that whole rabbit hole about, oh, what's it called? Ventoy. That was a nightmare. And we got a couple other squirrels. But anyway, I tried already to shrink the C drive and found that I couldn't. So I had to do a little preparation for that. So let's just go start looking at things. I'm going to bring up some pictures. When I was a kid, my dad was set up the living room to show pictures and to show home movies. That just brought back a memory. That bring back a memory for anyone else? Pulling out the old Super 8 projector or the slide projector, showing pictures to the family. I'm going into my iCloud to show you some pictures as I was preparing for this. Let's see, what do I want to start with here? We'll come over here, and I'm not sure what each of these are. I should preview them first. Yeah, it would have been senseless to take you through all of this. Where is it? Oh yeah, here. Is this it? Yeah, first time I went to try to shrink the C drive on Baby Beast, it's a 1 terabyte drive. You see that here, or almost 1 terabyte there, because this is in megabytes. So that's 450 megabytes. Put a comma there, it's 952 gigabytes. So we've almost turned the 1 on this odometer to be terabytes. I was trying to say trillion bytes. Of size available to shrink in megabytes, I could only shrink it by 87 gigabytes because there was not enough contiguous space. I did some interaction with the with one of the AI things to see what it would say about this. And where was I going with that? I don't know. But anyway, it told me to defrag it. I said, well, you can't defrag a SSD. And the concept of defragging, we think that doesn't apply to solid state drives, but it does when you're trying to shrink a partition. So what I had to do was to disable system restore, delete all my restore points, turn off swap file, and there's one other third thing somebody might mention in chat. But those are things that they start out at a certain size, and then over time they're going to add more. And as you delete files, and I've done a lot of adding and deleting to Baby Beast, so there's no contiguous space that it can shrink down, even though there was enough free space. So once I disabled all those things, disable hibernation was the other one. Then I was able to reduce the shrink the partition. Let's see. So here's after I disabled all that stuff. Total size before the shrink was that the size available shrink in MB, I could shrink down 701 gigabytes. I didn't want to shrink down that much. I wanted to be roughly equal size. So now I think the next shot probably shows my change. Yeah, it does. And I'm going to see what the rest of these pictures are. Oh, that was the last one. Okay, so what I did here is I just changed the first couple of numbers to make these roughly equal size. It's not critical what number you pick, but once you type in a different number for this amount of space to shrink, then it automatically calculates how much is going to be available after that. Now, I got to the point where I could do that, and then I undid it, unwrapped it, so we can actually do it live. So I can show you how to do it. So here we go over to Baby Beast. And I'm going to right click on the Windows icon, go to Disk Management. Make this a little bigger so we can see everything. So here's the C drive. I want to shrink that down roughly to half. While we're here, I want to point out there are other drives and other partitions on this computer. At some point, we're going to get to that place in Windows installation where you choose where you want to install. And it's a very smart thing to not have any other drives attached when you're doing this. So I'm going to be doing this in a way that I would say, don't do this at home. I'm a professional. And that's just kind of a blanket disclaimer saying if you do this at home, be careful.
Read chat, please.
Know that it can bite you. I'm going to take a look at that. Read chat. Can you move the DM window a bit to the right so that picture-in-picture doesn't cover it? Oh, good point. How about we just turn that one off? Because I don't need. Yeah, because what I want to do, best way for me to do this is to face this camera and make that real big so I can actually operate looking this way. So, man, Ran Israel, awesome. Thank you for doing that. Let's give you some points. I know you say, don't give me points. But you can't tell me what to do. It's my show. If I want to give you points, I'll give you points. Take that. Okay, so I right-click on this partition, choose Shrink Volume. Takes a little bit for it to calculate how much shrink I can do. Ren says, well, if you insist. So here it's defaulting to the maximum amount that I can shrink. I'll press the left arrow key. And then I typically just change the first number or the first two numbers to approximately half. So if I look at this 95 up here and think about, okay, what's half of that? Well, let's say about, what, 42. and then tab. Actually, I didn't even need to do tab. It changed this number live. Oh, let's not do a backup now. Okay, that's too much of a difference. Why did that be so much difference? Amount of space to shrink. I want them to be a little closer. I just kind of fudge this. So I'll take these two numbers and make them bigger. I could have just taken that 2 and changed it to 7. That's pretty close right there. Now this 478, that's going to be my new partition. The existing partition is going to be 473. It is quite possible, quite likely, that once I start with this new partition, this new operating system, that might become my permanent, and I might wind up abandoning this. In which case, I'll make a image backup of the partition that I want to keep, and then I'll wipe out the other one and do a restore. I don't think I'll be able to increase the size of that partition after deleting the first one because, well, unless I use a partition utility tool. So anyway, here's what we're going to click on shrink. So here's the new unallocated space. I'm going to leave it as unallocated space because when we get into the Windows installation, and we're choosing what space to use, that unallocated will just jump out at us. That'll say, I'm the right choice. Choose me because I'm unallocated. If I went ahead and formatted it, I could still select that space, but it's a little more dicey as to where it is. And yes, Greg, I have done an image backup. Actually, both my computers get image backups every night. Full backup, I think, is once a month. Beginning of each week is a differential backup, and every day is an incremental backup. So I can restore to any point in time. Now, something else I want to point out that's going to become a significant issue is that I have some drives named. This one called Macrium and this one called OneDrive. I will commonly name my drives rather than these generic names like local disk. You can right click and choose rename. Here it is, rename, and actually give a drive on your computer a name so it makes sense. I'm going to cancel out of that because I don't really care to change that one. So I have a drive called Macrium and a drive called OneDrive. Well, guess what's on those drives? Yeah. Rand Israel says, why are there 2 recovery partitions on this disk? Recovery partition, EFI, and recovery partition. Offhand, I don't know why that is. It's probably because of something that has happened in the past on this drive. I wasn't even conscious of that. I might have done some weird thing. I don't know. I might have somewhere along the line, I might have restored in such a way that created a new recovery partition. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not worried about those numbers of wasted space. It's not intentional. It's not any kind of secret ninja technique that I have. Okay, so is there anything else I need to do before we restart this computer? I don't think so. Let's see, there's a 16 gigabyte flash drive here. That is the Windows installation media. I'm not going to show you how to create a Windows installation media. That's just created with the media creation tool. And then, so I'm going to do Windows key R. The last command I did on this computer was the shutdown /R/O/T space 1. I think somebody in chat had pointed that out as an alternative one point along the line, and I wound up really, really latching onto that. I'm going to guess it was Rand maybe Zvi, I don't know. So thinking, is there anything else I want to do before restarting this? What we're about to do is install a Windows 11 24H2 on this second partition. My intention is to just do a minimally viable operating system for my usual purposes. And at any time I can reboot back to this operating system and use it. Okay, so clicking OK. Phil Stodd says, I've noticed multiple up to 3 recovery partitions on different computers with no apparent reason. Yeah, I don't know. No apparent reason, no children reasons, not even any cousin or nephew reasons. Hey, I have to try to improve my skills. Someday I might not be able to be a computer tech anymore. Use a device. Now, sometimes instead of use a device, I'll go into BIOS if I'm not familiar with how this computer is going to behave. I already know this computer is going to recognize the flash drive and be able to boot from it. So here's the SanDisk. That's the one I want to use, not a CD drive, not a removable device, not a network device. So it's this one right here. I'm catching some of the chat messages, but I'm not even trying to read them all. So if there's something you want me to see, be sure to do. Either you can hit me in orange if you don't want to interrupt me with it, or do the !C. And this whole redesign that I'm doing about how I do things is going to add some other options for how you can pose questions without interrupting, because I know some people don't like to use the !C because it interrupts what I'm currently talking about. Okay, so I'm going to drag this over here. No changes needed here. Next. No changes needed there. Next. Install Windows 11. Install the latest version of Windows 11 or repair your PC. If you're installing Windows 11, please note your files, apps, and settings will be deleted. I agree. Everything will be deleted in files, apps, and settings. No, it won't. So I'm going to put the check mark because I know better. If you click on previous version of setup out down here, you get the previous version of setup. Basically, the screens look a little different. But here, I'll point out, I am selecting this. I don't want to wipe out what is currently my C drive, right? So this could be a little unnerving if you don't know how this is going to behave. Click Next. Product key. We're going to select, I don't have a product key. Poor me. Then here's where we're going to choose what edition of Windows. So we can use any edition of Windows that's on the installation media that I'm currently using. I could be doing this with a Windows 10 flash drive, installation media on a flash drive, even if my current C drive is Windows 11. Now, I don't know how this goes with other things like Linux, and I'm not going to try to address that. If you want to know how to do dual boot with Linux, then go see Jim KJ3N's video on exactly that topic. So it's going to be Windows 11 Pro, which is what's on my current C drive. I still want to stay with that. I could be doing Windows 11 Home if I wanted to have that available for, to show different things. I could be doing that during a live show. Somebody asks a question about a Windows 11 Home, I could just very quickly restart Baby Beast and boot to a Windows 11 Home partition. So here, next. Getting a few things ready, and then accept the license. And if you don't know how this operates, and you're still nervous, am I going to lose my files? I don't want to lose my files. I don't. We're not going to lose the files, as long as you do the next steps correctly. Here we go with the partitions. Now remember, I pointed out the names of the partitions. Here's that one that's named OneDrive. Here's that one that's named Macrium. Here, this disk 0 partition 1, it's not named. Well, that's the Microsoft Reserve partition. And then here's this partition 1 is a OEM partition. That's one of those other little tiny partitions. But if you name your partitions and it shows up in here, or whatever the default name might be, they'll show up here. So it's useful to have that in here. Now, if you had used the previous installation interface, remember that one that I pointed out said use the previous version of setup, however they said that, then these are listed a little differently here. Let's see, how were they different? Somehow the labeling is different. It just looks weird. It looks different. But I want to point out that it's not disk 0 for me. It's not disk 1. It's actually disk 2. This is on the NVMe drive that's in Baby Beast. Now, if you haven't experienced multiple different kinds of drives in your computer, BIOS, this has been consistent every time that I have looked at this behavior. So I'm assuming this is some standard. But if you have an NVMe drive and you have a 2.5-inch SATA drive and you have a 3.5, yeah, I have a 3.5-inch drive in here too. I have a spinning hard drive connected to that for storing backups, I think it is. What happens is if you only have an NVMe drive, it's going to show up as disk 0. If you also have a 2.5-inch SATA drive, that's going to show up as disk 0, and your NVMe is going to show up as disk 1. If you also have a 3.5-inch drive, that's going to show up as disk 0. I think I'm saying these right. And your 2.5-inch is going to show up as disk 1, and your NVMe is going to, or M.2, whether it's NVMe or not is irrelevant. I think it's just M.2 is going to show up as disk 3, even if disk 3 is what has your active partition that you're booting from. Now there's a scroll bar here. What else do we have? Oh, there's the disk 3. Oh, the disk 3 is that flash drive. All right, so here's that unallocated space. See how easy it is to recognize that? There's only one unallocated space in all of that. That's easy to select that, and you get a confirmation of the size that you're expecting, and then it's unallocated space. So that gives very high confidence. Let's see, I see Daniel Pert making a comment. Another frequent cause of multiple recovery partitions is the Windows update process, particularly with major feature updates. Here's how it happens. Oh, cliffhanger there. He's going to give us another statement. When a significant Windows update is installed, it may require a larger recovery partition than one that currently exists. Awesome. As I was reading your first statement there, I had this in mind. I was thinking that idea came to mind. Yeah, I don't think I thought of it until your first line showed up. Jim is here. Mr. Perpetually Late is here. I see Hi H changed the title last minute. Yes, I did. Original didn't say second Windows OS. Yes, Jim, I changed that because of your question, because of your comment. It didn't occur to me how that would be helpful for me to include the word Windows OS. That's when he thought that it might be a remake of his video. So thank you for that idea, Jim. That was spot on. I'm glad you made that comment. He might be in DVR mode. He might not be actually caught up with us yet. So here we have unallocated space. So now we go next. I'm doing pretty good with my keyboard and mouse. Lack of confusion. I don't have mouse without borders active anymore. I had disabled that because we had reason to suspect that was causing a problem somewhere along the line. You won't be able to use your PC during installation. Yes, I will, just not that one. Save and close your files before you begin. As if I could have any files open while setup is running. Well, this setup is designed that it could be launched from a Windows operating system that is up and running if you're trying to do a in-place upgrade. Install Windows 11 Pro. Keep nothing. Certain apps and features may have additional requirements above the Windows 11 minimum system requirements. Some features, previous versions of Windows aren't available. Windows 11. Yeah. Install. Okay, now I got to think about where I'm at. Okay, I've already selected the unpartitioned space. Yeah, we're good. Here we go. Off and running. Okay. I'm glancing over at chat. Sure enough, I had to scroll to see new messages. If existing recovery partition doesn't have enough free space to accommodate new recovery tools in the image. Yeah, good observation. Windows will create a new larger recovery partition instead of trying to resize the existing one. This can lead to an accumulation of recovery partitions over time with each major OS upgrade. Daniel, that is just awesome. That is worthy of points. Throw Daniel some points. Make sure the points are working. Yes, they are. UEFI BIOS shows SATA drives before showing NVMe drives. How about a M.2 drive that's not NVMe? I have, what's the right word? PCI? No. What's the right word for an M.2 that's not NVMe? Brain fart right now. I have 3 SATA drives and an NVMe drive as my boot drive. My boot drive shows as disk
Read chat,
3.
please.
So 4 he's showing. He's got 0, 1, 2, 3. At last read chat, SATA. Oh, M.2 SATA. Okay, so yeah, that's right, M.2 SATA. So earlier, a 2.5-inch SATA is
Read
different,
chat, please.
different physical connector than an M.2 SATA. Not confusing at all. So would you call the distinction then M.2 SATA to 2.5 SATA? Is that how you would concisely distinguish between the two? Sometimes it's labeled NGFF on the motherboard. Yeah, I can't quite remember what that stands for, but when I first came across that, I had, what? Yeah, that was I'd say an earlier, wasn't that an earlier naming convention for it? Oh, next generation form factor. Yeah. So next generation form factor. Can we still call it that legitimately? It's like current generation form factor now, isn't it? Accentuate the term SATA. It's a long dog saying. If you want to specify the difference between a 2.5-inch SATA and an M.2 SATA, the way to do that is accentuate the term SATA. So if you say SATA drive, that means 2.5-inch, as opposed to M.2 SATA. Because, yeah, that clarifies it. Ouch. Your PC will start in a few moments later. No, I don't have that sound effect anywhere. Scott got a laugh from something there. Maybe it was the emphasizing theta. Okay, so here I'm going to hit the arrow keys. I didn't even notice if there was a countdown, but often there's a countdown. So this is volume 8 would be the most recent one that I did. Volume 6 was the prior one. Now I think in MS Config we can rename these so they're more user friendly. On Big Beast I have a volume, I think it's volume like 3 and volume 5, and I would like to rename those. I think that's through MS Config on the boot tab where we can rename them. So here we go, selecting volume 8, enter. Entrez-vous, please. Martin Hogg says, hello, everyone. Good to have you back, Doug. I'm glad you have my back. Keep working on it, Doug. Or not. Some people are going to say not. For those who didn't understand that, keep working on my attempts at humor, or not. 482%. Now then, so.
Read chat, please.
Oh, Rand Israel says rename using BCD edit. So does that mean we can't do it through MS Config? I think I recently went to MS Config and just briefly looked for a way to do it. Did not see it. Lawn Dog, I see your comment. I'm not interested in talking about that. Something on Gamers Nexus about Asus motherboards. I'm not a builder. That's not my bag. Not interested. I don't mind you mentioning it for the audience benefit, but I'm not going to talk about it. All right, where I'm going to cue something else that we might go bring up. Okay, here we go. Oh, the motherboard drivers, chipset drivers and stuff from the manufacturer. I'm going to be needing to install those. Don't really need to do that during the show because that's stuff that system builders out there know how to do. But actually, it might be a good thing for us to go through that together because you probably know that. I know you not probably. You do know that better than I do. I don't do this very often. United States. So I just might shortcut things for me to go through that with y'all. Second keyboard, no. Now I do sign in with Microsoft account, but I first create a local account and then I sign into my Microsoft account later. Name your device. Let's do, it can be the same name. Now, I generally use lowercase b's for baby and spell out the word baby on the last one. And on the other boot drive, I don't really need to match it. Do I care about this? I think I call it Doug-baby. Do I want to specify that it is the 2025? That would be good, because then when I look at the name of the computer, I know that I'm working with the edition that I created in 2025. I kind of like that. And of course, I could have skipped it.
You're right, chat, please.
Yeah, Rand is saying suggest a different name other than the other installation. That isn't what I'm doing here, because the other installation, let's see, I think I can actually show what the other one is, because yeah, sure I can, because I have it right here. When I do run on Big Beast and do 2 backslashes, then we can see what I've previously searched for using 2 backslashes. So it's Doug hyphen baby baby. So now I have baby 2025. I like that. Because eventually, as I add more stuff, if that winds up becoming my go-to partition and what I go use moving forward, they're going to start getting to look more and more similar to each other. I am intending for Big Beast Baby and Big Beast to be more restrictive. See, there's a countdown in the top, 6 seconds, 5 seconds, so on. In MS Config, we can change the number of seconds on that. I just hit a down arrow key to stop that from happening. And there's defaults and other options from here. Let's go look at that, because I haven't seen that for a while. Oh, I can change the timer from here. Choose a default operating system if I want it to always start up on one or the other. Current default is volume 8. All right. Choose other options, repair tools, run Windows from another device, see more options. What does that get us into? All right, that makes sense. Get into these. Okay, then Shift Tab gets me up to that left arrow in the upper left, or I could have used the mouse. And then again, Shift Tab will get me to that left arrow, or I could have used the mouse. And then go ahead and go into Windows 11. Scott says algorithm must be checking for punctuation. Where was that? Did it change from the lowercase to uppercase? I don't know. What do you mean by that, Scott? Or is that in your chat? Maybe that comment wasn't meant for me. How would you like to set up this device? Work or school? Now, this is a little different presentation than what we normally, I think, than what we normally see for Windows 11 Pro. Let's see. Scott says he has no idea how it works, all in fun. Okay, I'm not sure. So set up for work for school. That should give me the opportunity to say that I want to sign into a domain, and therefore let me do a local user account. Or I could use the Shift F10 and use bypass NRO, or use start space MS : local user only. What happened? I didn't do anything. Oh, I just must have had a display driver update. Looks like I just had a display driver update. Baby Beast monitor is still showing that same screen, but the capture just lost it. Why? Why? Yeah, the monitor for Baby Beast is still showing correct. Let's see what's going on. All right, I'm going to click over to my capture device scene and try to fix that. Let's see, that would be, there, capture, is it capture 2 or capture 1? Find out by coming over here. BB baby source, BB baby. Coming off here. All right, we'll do troubleshooting here. I'll get my capture device, my other capture device. And see if it's working. Okay, there. Switch microphone. So now I'm on the lavalier and get my HDMI cable, which is here. Connect to one of my extra PCs that are sitting over here. I don't need a keyboard and mouse. I just need it to come on and send a video signal. Back on my main microphone. And then it'll be that capture button. And there's nothing there. Which means my capture device is on the fritz. Oh, there I got something. Okay, so that is capture port 2, which gets my HDMI cable. So then if I come back here to my button for Baby Beast, this is also showing that other computer. It looks like they swap places. Number 1 and number 2. Maybe, I don't know what to do. Okay, so Big Beast baby source. Baby. Okay, BB baby source. Okay, then how about disconnect and reconnect the cables? Lavalier mic. Take my cell phone for a flashlight. And disconnect and reconnect both ends of that cable. See if that brings it back. Drum roll, please. Nada. What other methods of up live with us again? Hold down, go boom. Do you know of any way to reset that maybe the driver for that capture card, because we use the same capture device? How about just device manager? And then that guy is where oh, Live Gamer Duo. That's what it is. So if I disable that device, then I should not be able to see that second computer that's on my desk anymore. I'm not going to restart the computer. And now that took me down to sound devices. That's not where I was. I guess maybe it was. Okay, so then we'll see if that, yeah, the second computer is no longer available. Now if I enable the device, don't restart, and right click here, and it is enabled now because that menu option has changed back to disable. And still dead. Ay caramba. I saw some flashing happening. What is that telling me? It seems to me that it was just a problem with Baby Beast. Let's see. Let's Scott says remove or update video drivers on black screen, might have to start up in safe mode. It's not video drivers for Big Beast, because Big Beast screens are all working fine. This is a capture device. Disconnected, turned off capture device already. I did. Like if there's some other way to reinitialize that device without restarting the computer. How about just restarting OBS? If I restart OBS, the stream is going to pause for a while. I can restart OBS quick enough to resume the stream before YouTube gives up on it. Could this be an OBS issue? I don't think so. But it could. And that is something that I can do. So I think that's what I'm going to do. What you're going to see is just that the last image, whenever I click that, you're going to see that refresh circle, that wait indicator, just spin and spin and spin. Probably going to take a minute or two. Daniel Pert is also voting for a restart of OBS. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. So I just exit OBS without actually clicking this stop stream button. See, here's this stop streaming button. I don't want to do that because that's going to send a stop stream signal to YouTube. So I'm just going to click this X up here, and then you're going to see that refresh circle, I think. All right, here we go. Hold your breath. OBS currently active. All streams recordings will be shut down. Are you sure you want to exit? Yes. Okay, that should have brought me back. I'm checking. Yes. And the chat is in play. Okay. So we came back fine. I have restarted OBS. Have not yet checked to see if that solved the issue. So I need to wait for this button to clear. There it is. I'm trying Baby Beast. Nope, that's just got my two picture-in-pictures. Then try that second computer. Oh, so we got back to the second computer is functional. So that did get me back up to that point. So it seems to be just Baby Beast. I'm thinking next I want to actually get Baby Beast up to the desktop and then restart it and see what we get, because it has been messing with display drivers. So if somehow it installed a display driver that is not compatible with the capture device, that makes sense. I think that's what it is. And Rand, it is not asleep. I see it right here. But I think it probably loaded some display driver in the background, and that's causing a problem. And Phil, I think I want to restart into this new operating system, but I've got to choose that setup for worker school because I'm not at the desktop yet. So I'm choosing setup for worker school. And then that gets me to a sign-in prompt that's asking for a Microsoft account name, but I'm going to click on sign-in options and choose domain join instead, and then put in it. Then it asks for a username. So I don't have to do the Shift F10 business when dealing with Windows 11 Pro. Oop, wrong keyboard. Ah, I did it, and I admitted wrong keyboard. So I'm putting in the name of Doug, no password. For diagnostic data, I'm saying required only, and inking and typing I'm turning off, and click accept. Let's check again to see if it's available. Nope. Checking for Windows updates. It could pop up anytime that it finds the right display driver update. Your update is in progress. That's a different looking screen. I've got a new arm for this camera, but haven't installed it yet. Am I still on lavalier or not? I'm not. Let's see if I can show you that. Oh, this is probably because all the Copilot verbiage that they have in there now. I did this with being connected to the internet. If I wasn't connected to the internet, I'm suspecting this stuff would not be happening. I'm wondering, Control Shift Escape, is Task Manager available yet? No. All right, I think I'm going to let that run.
Read chat, please.
Do not forget advanced options. Drivers sometimes hide there. Yeah, but if you're talking about this problem with Baby Beast not showing up, that cannot possibly be the issue, because the driver is the driver for the capture card. There's only one driver for the capture card. The second port on it is working for that external computer. So that driver's fine. What's that camera? It makes a lot of sense to me that what happened was that during the Windows installation, it made some kind of a change to the display driver in this new Windows installation on Baby Beast that is somehow not compatible with the capture device. Okay, here's what's going on. I bet this is it. The Baby Beast has, I'm using 2 video ports on its motherboard. One video port goes to the second, to this monitor. The other port goes to the capture device. I'm thinking maybe if I just swap those cables, then the primary image should come through on the capture device. Because I think what's going on now is it's only putting output on one device. I bet that's it. I'm going to try swapping those cables, because I live dangerous.
Read chat, please.
Did you try switching the ports or cable? Well, isn't that what I just said I'm going to do? Here's an idea. How about, have you thought about doing what you just said you're going to do? Okay. One is HDMI and the other is DisplayPort. And I have an adapter for the DisplayPort. So I'm actually dealing with 2 HDMI cables.
So I'm just going to swap those cables, and I think that's going to put the primary display coming through to OBS. But no, it's still coming through to this monitor. Well, that's weird. How did that work? How did that not work? What? Yeah, there's only 2 video ports on the Baby Beast motherboard. One is HDMI, the other is DisplayPort, and I have a DisplayPort to HDMI adapter in the DisplayPort. So both of the cables are actually HDMI cables. And I just swapped those HDMI cable ends at Baby Beast. So that signal that's going out to the monitor, it actually switched to the other port on Baby Beast. Okay, how about this? Disconnect that external monitor and then see if, since there's no other place to go, will it send the video output to OBS? Because it's only got one place to go. Yes, that worked. Okay, so that explains the whole thing, and it makes sense. Is that at that point during the setup, Windows is only able to send out one signal, and it was smart enough to know which video port actually had a physical monitor attached, and the display capture device was always going to take second chair, no matter what I did with the cables. That's interesting. Problem solved. And I solved it. Therefore, let's see. If I do at Live Windows Training, nope, I'm going to do the at symbol. At LIV, Live Windows Training. Don't I get points for that? He even awards points to himself. How corrupt is that? All right, we're restarting now. Greg M says at the hardware level it is DisplayPort and HDMI. Yeah, I've seen that where it will favor, I think, the DisplayPort, but that didn't happen in this case. It seems that it favored the one that had a physical monitor attached, because I swapped them. And Greg M is saying he thinks HDMI takes precedence over DisplayPort. I have seen things that tell me it's one way or the other, but I don't know that that's consistent across all computers. I suspect it is not consistent. And I've had times when I've been trying to fix which monitor displays which, and I try swapping the cables, and it does not produce the results that I expect. So I don't know, that's a whole area that I don't have worked out. Just when I think I've got it worked out, then I go to another computer and I find, it's not working the same way over here. So I'm highly dubious of anybody claiming to know how that works, unless you have some documentation about how everyone's required to do it a certain way. But I've already seen manufacturers not follow the rules, or not follow what I think is rules, such as having a USB port that has a color on the tongue, but it's a 2.0. I expect 2.0 USB ports to always be black. I have one around here where that's not the case. It's not on my desk right now. Daniel, he's fallen asleep. Go watch a different show if that's a complaint. I don't think it's a complaint. There's also handshaking that occurrence, aka EDID, that devices talk between the device and the computer to agree on resolution. Oh, Jim's caught up with us. What color instead of black? It was blue. In fact, I think I have it here. Let's see, I'm still on the left. Here's back to the normal mic. I think it was one of these. Yeah, here we go. This is it. Okay, you can clearly see those are all blue. Now when I rotate around this way, I think right there you can see that these are all labeled. They are labeled USB 3.0, USB 2.0, and USB 2.0. So these two are labeled 2.0 and they have blue tabs. And when I look inside, I can confirm that they are 2.0 by seeing the conductors that are in there. At least I think so. Here we have a desktop. The 3.0 has extra conductors. Oh, there they are. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I can remember where they were at. So let me see if I can show this to you. Let's see. Go back to keyboard camera. Okay. So this one right here is the 3.0. When I rotate it this way, you can see conductors back deeper. How am I going to do this better? All right, let's do this. That's there. A little stand here. And then I'm going to have to, oh, that thing is bouncing around. Okay, let's see how this is looking. And then do a focus. Working on the focus. There. Okay, this is the 3.0. You can see the four brass colored conductors on each of those. When I rotate a little bit this way, you can see the tongue has an additional 5 conductors at the tip of the tongue. This one does not. This one does not. Therefore, these two are USB 2.0, even though they are blue in color. So just wrong. Don't do that. Oh, that's interesting. That's not blocking the camera. This is so weird. All right.
I've got the wire strung right out in front of me, but I guess it's not in front of the camera, so you don't see it. Okay. Take a look at device manager. Okay, so I need to get to the manufacturer's website to install their drivers. Got half an hour left of the show. And bring up some information about what that motherboard is. I have that stored in OneNote. I got a ton of stuff stored in OneNote. All my clients over the decades that I've worked for them. So I open OneNote and I search for Big Beast. Or I could search for BBB.
Read
That
chat,
will
please.
usually get to the right place. Oops. There's part list. I'll go take a look at that read chat, please, and see what we got. Oh, all right. ROG Strix 460i Gaming. ROG Strix B460i Gaming. B460i Gaming. Awesome. Winter mute. And that was very helpful because then I don't have to go do it myself trying to find it. So there, throw some points at winter mute.
Read chat, please.
Description and boot manager, endpoints, ran Israel. Oh, remember to rename the computer. I already named it the way I want it. Oh, I meant the description and boot manager. Oh, okay. Yeah. Rename. Yeah, we want to rename that boot partition or that operating system, not actually the computer. In fact, that's a good thing to go do now, since we're going to wind up rebooting this, so I'd like to be able to see the effect of that. Now, I'm going to take a look at msconfig first, and then I've got to go back, Ran, to where you said how to do that. Let's turn off that. Would you like to download and install Army Crate? ASUS service for device configuration includes RSync. That's like RGB. Well, this is Baby Beast. There's no RGB. I think the memory lights up, but I don't want to. I don't want to add that. Choose to cancel download processing and still visit the support site. Yeah, I'm going to say no to that. See, Wintermute said no to what? No to what? I don't know. Oh, boot tab. Yeah, so here's those two. See, I had thought that there was a way in here to rename it. There isn't, is there? This is the current one. Advanced options. No. All right. So I'm satisfied on that. Let me go find what that was.
Read
that
chat, please.
Ran Israel was telling us. Elevated. Oh, he's giving me that right here. Elevated command window, BCD edit, set current description, new name. Set current. So I need to type in the new name that I want here. Set current. I think I don't need to change that word current. And I have to grab that on Baby Beast. So to do that, I'm going to hit the easy button. Start without your data. Go into Microsoft Edge here. Bring over your data. Now confirm and continue. All this bogus stuff. Continuing without Google. No, I don't want it to be
Read
more
chat,
useful. Yeah, it says substitute the new name part only. Keep the rest as is. Okay, so youtube.com youtube.com/LWTDB/live. and pause the video so we don't hear the echoing. And then grab this elevated command BCD edit. Click on the Windows button, CMD, click on Run as Administrator, answer yes, Control V, paste, backspace, and I want this to be Win 11 Pro 2025. Win 11 Pro 2025. So that's the operating system. It'll show up as an alternate operating system to launch when the computer restarts. Yeah, I think that makes sense. That way, if I want to do a Windows 11 Home, I've kind of set the path here.
Read chat, please.
Brand Israel says, make it pretty, use spaces. All right. Giving you a chance to say anything else. All right. Jim just got a chuckle out of me. So there's chuckle points. All right. I think that's ready to go. Okay, why is it not going? Got my mouse clicked right there. There. I had to use left arrow key to get that cursor active, apparently. Okay, exit from that. And then let's go ahead and get the drivers. And this is grayed out because it's wanting me to deal with cookies. Cookie setting, essential, always active, analytics, and advertising is already turned off by default, confirm. Please select operating system, 1164-bit. Then the drivers pop up. I need to make this screen bigger by popping it out in OBS so I can see it full screen. Oh, I'm not showing that to you. Oh, yes, I am. Expand all, collapse all. There's not a method to download them all as a group, is there? Can I just download all of them? Do I need to do them in any particular order? I'm inclined to start with chipset drivers. Isn't that the right thing to do? How about I just download all of them individually, because that's what you got to do. That was the LAN driver, and then wireless, and then chipset.
Read chat, please.
Download them all, install one by one. Yeah, thank you, Ran. That's what I was thinking. It's good to have that confirmation. Audio, VGA, Bluetooth, I don't need to wait for that, I don't think. So there's going the utilities and SATA, and Armory Crate. Now, did that say to actually come? Yeah, drivers Intel V1836. Yep, that is that one. So I didn't have to wait for a download to finish. Now
Read
there's
chat,
see
please.
all downloads. So there's more. Ran Israel. Yes, Baby Beast is only using integrated graphics. So does that mean I don't need the VGA?
Read chat, please.
Armory Crate
Read
uninstall
chat,
tool.
please.
Rand says you do, meaning I do need the VGA. Armory Crate, I might as well just have them all downloaded. Because I might want to do that Armory Crate uninstall on the original partition. So those last couple of read chats was, see, I responded to that one. Yes, integrated graphics. You could use the drivers from the old installation in the directory Windows System 32 drivers. Because yes, I can navigate to that through Windows Explorer. Burn Armory Crate to the ground, never install that. Okay, good to have that confirmation. Thank you. You don't need to go to NVIDIA's site then, right? Recommend click expand all at top as you need to expand some categories as there's more than one you need. Oh, all right. Okay, going back to the top. Let's turn that guy off. Expand all, and then go back through them and look to see if any of them have secondary things to download. Is that it doesn't actually respond, right? Collapse all. Oh, I've got the wrong mouse. No, I don't. I have the right mouse. Okay, there's that see all downloads. The expand all should remove that see all downloads. Okay, yeah, I see what that's doing. Oh, okay. So now in the wireless section, there's multiple different things to download. And I might not have downloaded the right one. It looks like I downloaded the most recent one, right? It probably was this first one, 22.190. That's closed, and yeah, it's 22.190. So what this is doing for the wireless section is it just showing me some older drivers. I don't see any reason to need those. There's nothing else odd about those drivers, so it's just version numbers. For the chipset, the one that I would have downloaded would have been this first one, or any of these better choices. Intel ME Consumer. Chipset driver. These look different than the management engine. That's what this ME Consumer, I imagine, is management engine. My first intuition is I probably need more than one of these. Intel chipset driver. There's a version number. This one's more recent than that one, so not the lowest one. Is there another chipset driver? Chipset driver. So chipset driver, this one looks to me like the most recent. So I don't need the older chipset drivers. Management engine consumer compared to management engine 2145. That sounds like a different driver, a different product. I probably need both of them. This is older version, so I don't need the older version. I just need the most recent of the management engine interface. Yeah, so this isn't a nuisance at all. I'm glad I don't build computers. I don't understand how you people do this. Make any money at it. It just bounces all over. Let's make this smaller. I'm going to do Control minus. We don't need it that big. So this will be a whole lot easier to deal with. Let's bring up the downloads folder so I can see what I have already. We'll scrunch that down a bit. Let's actually do let's put that on that side and put this on the right side. There we go. That's kind of convenient. Intel Gigabit Ethernet driver. I think that is this one. Yeah, when I float the mouse, no, that doesn't give me a confirmation. Intel Wi-Fi. See, if there was some consistency of naming here, that would have been useful. 12.19137. Does that give me a confirmation? Intel Gigabit Ethernet driver. Why am I highlighting VGA?
Read chat, please.
Ah, this one. This one should be that first one. 12.19137. Yes, that confirms it. The last file LAN is Ethernet driver. Yes. Yeah, I was being a little dense there. Then this one,
Chat, please.
22.190. Yes, that confirms. And as far as the wireless drivers, that is the only one we need. So then scroll down to the next section. So now look at chipset. Jim says, consistency, what are you, Kami? So chipset, here's the ME, that's the first one. And then for the chipset drivers, I only need the most recent one, which I don't think I've downloaded that yet because that one was concealed. So download that one. Then go to the next unique name in this chipset section, Intel Management Engine. This is the most recent version of the Intel Management Engine. Download that. The chipset driver, we've already got the most recent there. This would be an older version, right? Because Intel chipset driver version 10.1.196, 10.1.188. So I don't need that. Oops, there's, oh, then this one is even an older of the same chipset driver. It just doesn't have the V part of the name, but it's Intel chipset driver, so don't need that. Audio. I've already downloaded audio, and there it is right there. The VGA I've already downloaded, and there's no extra items. For the Bluetooth section, I would have done this one, and that is showing 22.190, so that'd be here. Come on, pop up the rest of the name for me. There, 22.190, confirmed. Then this is an older version, and this is an older version, so don't need either of those. Utilities. ROG Game First, I did get that. I'm probably not going to install that. I don't intend to be doing gaming on that. WinRAR, I did not download that. I don't know if I need that. I have learned before what RAR is. I don't remember right now. Game First. No, I'm going to skip those. I'm not going to download them. AI Suite 3 Cleaner. I don't think I'll need that. Uninstall tool to remove AI Suite 3. And then here's the AI Suite 3 install program. If I don't download it, I don't need to uninstall it. I mean, if I don't install it, I don't need to uninstall it. This one I should have already done. 1836. That is Intel Rapid Storage. Which one is that? Intel Rapid. Let's see, 1836-1. Yeah, that's it, 1836-1. The number confirms. Armory crate, no, 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 no. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. There's an install and there's an uninstall. Okay, we're done. We're done, right? Start with the chipset. I'm about to start with the chipset. Unless somebody says, no, 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 don't do that. Right here, this one. Right click, extract all. RAR is similar to WinZip. Is that what that, I know RAR is, Windows RAR is a, yeah, there's a zip, but isn't that isn't that acronym for something else as well? Setup chipset, looks like this one. I don't think this needs to be done with administrator mode. Just double click that. That's what I'm about to do. Doman says all he read about Armory Crate is to avoid it like a plague. Yeah, Runs says, why is WinRAR hosted on ASUS website? That's really what that is. And go back. I'm giving you a chance to tell me not to do this. If I need to do something else before the chipset, I'm giving you a little bit of time to do that. By distracting myself for this WinRAR, that is just, for extracting, I think. It makes sense. All right, here we go. Oops, over here. Setup chipset. I'll get that device manager back up on screen. Oh, come on. There. So we can see the effect that it has when it does it. We're looking for it to take care of those exclamation marks. Those sound like things that could be all from the chipset driver. To me. There's one of them goes down. Oh, all of them are down. All of them are gone. Successfully installed chipset device software. Restart for changes to effect. We've got network is functional. I'm going to go ahead and restart now so that you have a chance to chime in about should I go install those other drivers from the motherboard manufacturer's website or just go with what I have now. Just thinking through. So there we go. I'm going to hit the arrow key so you have a chance to see that. So Windows 11 Pro 2025.
Read chat, please.
This other one, Windows 11. I could change the name of that to Windows 11 Messed Up. Or Windows 11 Crashes. That last read chat from Jim. If all the hardware is detected, I'd say leave it alone. That's my inclination. Because device manager is clean right now. Those other drivers, there might be some edge case where those drivers would fix a problem, in which case if I came across a problem, I would go install those drivers. My inclination, unless somebody's got some more significant reason is not install the rest of them. I have them collected. I have them on hand. Okay. Oh, look at that. 4 minutes left for the show. I got it done in time. Is there anything I need to do otherwise? I don't think so. Let's see. This is a Windows Pro. Let's go check a couple of. Manage BitLocker. BitLocker is completely off. If we go
Read chat,
to
please.
disk management, that last read chat was Phil Stodd. Don't forget to change the power settings. Turn off monitor. Yes. We'll go do that in a moment. So here's my current C drive. When I boot to the other partition, this one over here will be the C drive. And this one likely will be F drive. I can still access everything across those partitions. I can go navigate to the F drive in File Explorer to access anything that's over there. Expand this PC. There's the F drive. So there's everything from that drive. And here's my local disk. Now the OneDrive, I'll be changing the drive letter for that to be O, so that I'm consistent with the way that I reference that. And where is that? Oh, the Macrium. I think I had that probably as M drive. So I'll right click here and change drive letters and paths. Change that to an M drive.
Read chat, please.
Rand Israel has changed the volume labels for both F and C drives. Sure. That's good. Let's see, in this, now this changing drive letters is from in here. Changing volume names I can do from Explorer. Then where is that OneDrive? Where do I have that? That's removable. That's those. Oh, here's OneDrive. So that I want to be the O drive. And then I'm going to leave that open. Let's close this. And then change the volume names just to be a little more clear. You know, since Microsoft is so clear with naming things, shouldn't we be clear with naming things too? Local disk F, that is my other drive. So if I do rename, see, I'm going to look at properties there just to see the size. Yeah, that's right. Got the right one. Rename. Now this rename only works for when I'm booted in this edition of Windows. When I switch over to the other, this rename won't carry over there. So what do I want to call this? Win 11 defective or original. Well, it's not the original. Defective, troublesome, problematic, problem child, Win 11 Pro problem child. And I've seen that, so it doesn't show up as changed right here right away. There's a limit to how many characters you can use, I think. Let's try closing that and coming back. Yeah, there it is. Windows 11 problem child. And then rename this one Win 11 Pro 2025. Now, can we do the spaces here? I think so. I'll just go ahead and close it and reopen it. Yeah, sure enough. All right, I'll go ahead and make it pretty, Rand. I don't know what the limit is on how many characters, or even if that's still a thing. There we go. Accident Seller, hello there. I see you. Let's see, what do you say? Hello, what other version are you installing next to Win 11? I just arrived. I explained all the reasoning for it at the beginning. The answer to it is it's the same version of Windows 11. It's Windows 11 Pro 24H2. Both partitions have that. The reason why I'm doing this is for troubleshooting purposes, because I have troubles on my original installation. And so I'm going to build up this alternate installation with the minimal programs and configurations that I need to see if the problems still continue, which if they do, would mean that there's a hardware issue. Let's see what else you've said. Accident Seller, and apparently you've been approved for the chat room, because I do have that feature turned on. But you're not blue yet. Let's see. Hello, I just installed Windows 10 on my 2013 iMac
Chat, please.
with Boot Camp. I'm looking forward to upgrading to Windows 11 because I like the UI more. I heard there are ways to do that on older hardware. Yes. Let's see. Are you wanting to do it on your iMac? Windows 10 on an iMac with Boot Camp. Looking forward to. So you want Windows 11 on your iMac with Boot Camp? Older hardware. There are ways to install Windows 11 on older hardware, but I don't know about with Boot Camp on an iMac. No clue. Keep forgetting that I've done it before on my machine. What other version are you installing? Okay, that's answered. All right. Yeah, Jim, good point. Thanks for saying that. And when I don't know how you people do this and make money at it. Well, you don't. You do for control of the hardware and the joy of building. Let's see, wasn't there a read chat? Oh yeah, that was from Jim. Accident Seller, he says, I see, thanks, that's smart thinking. Thank you. And actually I have Accident Seller, since you're new around here. This is the Big Beast build. It has two full computers inside of that box. Big Beast build and Baby Beast inside that box. So what we did today was for Baby Beast. I already have the same kind of multi-boot on Big Beast. I've had it for years. The second boot partition I don't use very much on Big Beast, but I am needing to do the same process on Big Beast, meaning a fresh new install on either the current alternate partition or yet another alternate partition. 3. Should I do 3? Just to see what I can do, because yeah, Doug likes doing things you're not supposed to do. Accident Seller, well, it's obvious that you are not a troll, so I'm going to make you a moderator. That's why you see a whole bunch of people in blue. I don't ask you to do moderator activities like trying to block other people. There's not many people you can block or do anything with, but you would be able to post links, and it lets us know that we know that you're not a troll.
Read chat, please.
Secure boot turned on. Is secure boot turned on? If it was turned on previously, then it should still be on because that's a BIOS issue. So let's go find out. Windows key, MS info, and right here, secure boot state is on. So that's a yes. Seems like another system restore, I think, is usually off by default. Don't really care about that now. Wasn't there something else that I was supposed to change? Oh, now I'm just kind of clicking on things, not thinking right. View advanced system settings. That's where system restore is over here. And go down to the C drive. Oh, it's on. Power settings, Daniel. Thank you. Windows key, edit power. Turn off display.
Read chat, please.
Never. Never, never, never. Put computer sleep. Never, 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 never. And hello, David Graham. Marsman says power settings. I just did that. Is there something else you mean? You're referring to something else? Daniel Pert and Marsman both saying power settings. Is this what you're on about? Done everything that I care about. Lawn Dog says, oh, come on. Lawn Dog, you haven't been watching the video, have you? You've been thinking about what you're going to dictate next. He says, how do you know which one you're running? What's the command, how you do it? When you start the computer, it offers you a choice between two operating systems. You highlight one and click on it or press
Read
enter.
chat, please.
No, I seem to have a delay in sending out chat. Okay. Now I can tell which one I am running currently. By two ways. I can come to the Windows button, right click, choose System, and the computer name, BB Baby 2025. That tells me I'm using this new one that I created in 2025. Or I can use File Explorer and see that the C drive is Windows 11 Pro 2025. That's how I can tell when I walk up to the computer, which one do I have running now? Okay, so now, because Lawn Dog is watching now, hint, hint, I'm going to show how you pick which one. So if I come over here to the power button, restart the computer. Oh, Lawn Dog says it's a different conversation. We all know how to do it in Windows. What do they call it? System properties, I believe. Doug, it was a different discussion about, okay, you're talking with somebody else about something else. All right. I should know better than to think that what you're saying in chat is directed at me. It's not like it's my chat room. John Downey says, why do you need dual boot? That's at the beginning of the video, and I've explained it a second time. Go. You're going to have to go back and watch it. I'm not going to explain it a third time. Okay. Accident seller, you just earned yourself some points. Hey, got a genuine chuckle out of me. Accident seller says, how do you know if someone is a Linux user? Don't worry, they will tell you. So you get extra points for that chuckle. All right, I'm out of here. Let's say goodbye. I'm not giving you that song today that claims 6 days a week. I can't do it anymore. Just my ethics just won't allow it. Here's the email address if you want to send a question, because that's really what I'm intending this channel to be about. Doesn't happen very often because people don't send me much questions. That email address. And I will reply to the email with a timestamp to a link where I responded to the question. Even if you're not a regular on this channel, doesn't matter. There you go. Have a great weekend, everybody. Goodbye.
That's all, folks.
It's a Windows issues, improv, no script, no rehearsal, no plan. Bring your Windows computer troubles for the crew to blow smoke or ideas your way. Amp up your problem solving skills with us.